So guys and girls, let me tell you the news. It appears in Sydney and Melbourne, there is going to be a lockdown as soon as Tuesday. Yes, unprecedented times. And I want to let you know that today I hope to cover some of the information that is impacting people that are in the real estate profession. The first thing I'm going to say to you is this. Please understand, at the moment, I've made a number of calls to people tonight, people that are in the know with government, people are in the know with real estate and the law, and I can tell you at the moment where we're at is we're trying to work out whether real estate will come in under the category of essential services. Okay? And that is unclear. That we do not know whether real estate in New South Wales and Victoria, which is under lockdown, is going to come down under essential services. Essential services at the moment, the definition appears to be covering supermarkets, pharmacists, doctors, public transport is in there. And guess what? For those of you that drink alcohol, Coles have said they're going to allow liquor to be under essential services, so you won't have a problem buying alcohol. Hey, Brenton, how you going? Right? So essential services mean you'll be able, if you can, buy one of these, right? By the way, can someone explain to me this? Can someone explain? Put the link in. Explain to me this. How is it possible that the mask stops you from infecting someone else, but the mask does not stop someone else infecting you? Can someone that has got the research, someone that can understand the science, explain to me? Because what people are saying is this. By the way, there's no swearing in this. There's no swearing. So if you want to press the share button and bring your salespeople and colleagues in, do that, because I'm letting you know I'm going to be giving you some information that's going to make you money this week, 100%. So how does this stop the germ going from you to the other person, but the virus can't be stopped by this coming? Can someone please provide the information in the comments below? Anyway, every few minutes, keep doing this. Okay, so guess what? This Saturday, the 4th of April, guess what? I could have had 800 auctions. I have never given away so many auctions in my life as what happened the Saturday, the 4th of April. And guess what? It appears that Saturday, the 4th of April, you will not be able to do auctions. So Sarah Bell, the scientist, Sarah Bell, because when it gets wet, it becomes a viral attractant. Okay, that makes some sense. Okay. Michelle Kerr, the purpose of the mask is to stop touching the face. Ooh, let me just think. Yes, I can see merit in there. Anyway, listen to me very carefully. By the way, and this is pretty much on the money, the lockouts that are going to happen, or the lockdowns that are going to happen, are still going to provide that people can move home, okay? That people can move home. This has come from a reliable and very confidential source. I'm not going to mention his name. Many of you will know him, and this guy I trust. It's been confirmed that people will still be able to move under the laws, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing I'll say is, may I give you advice on what I'm doing with all the auctions I've got this Saturday, which is from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock every 45 minutes. I am bringing them forward. Tomorrow morning, I'm on the phone because this sort of got us by surprise. We were expecting the lockout being at least one more week, right? The lockdown. I keep saying the lockout. The lockdown was going to be at least one more week away, right? So this has got everyone by surprise. Here's the strategy. If you have auctions, on Saturday, bring them forward and auction them on Tuesday. Get on the phone and say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, in light of what's going on, we are now bringing the auction forward. The auction will be held in our room or on the property, wherever you choose. It's going to be on Tuesday or even Monday. If you've got one buyer, line it up. And I've got to tell you, it might not be a bad strategy, because if you thought that you were going to have 10 or 15 people coming to the auction, that might not be happening, because on Saturday there were a number of properties. We were expecting 9 or 10 registered and only one person came along. So buyers are dropping off. Yes, there are still big sales, but today I want to actually get you ready and fit for what I think is going to be not a super period in terms of turnover in the short term. You need to factor that in. People that don't go from the heights of exhilaration to the depths of depression in 24 hours, factor shit's going to happen. Yes, we are up to, nearly 1,000 live viewers going on. And why are they here? Because they want to hear some of the strategies that they need. And strategy number one, it appears that you are going to be able, during the lockdown laws, you are going to be able to actually have people move homes. And what that probably means is a tenant moves into a home. What it probably means is a buyer moves into their home. They're going to be able to move into the home, right? So by the way, guys and girls, what I'm going to do right here, right now, this is a very important message. The person that shares this video is going to be in the running to win a 45-minute one-on-one coaching session with me, giving you the scripts and dialogues that you've got to be using during coronavirus period. The scripts and dialogues that I used on Saturdays with vendor and buyers. So press that share button, tag someone in. I want this message to get out, because I've got to tell you, one of the things that people have to get really used to is a thing called uncertainty tolerance. I'm going to repeat that. Uncertainty tolerance. Uncertainty tolerance is that we all have a threshold, right? So actually, let me change the word. Let's call it uncertainty threshold. We all have what is called uncertainty threshold. And uncertainty threshold is the amount of uncertainty, that you actually can cope with before you actually get overwhelmed, right? And I have to tell you, I've got a very high uncertainty threshold. And the reason I have a very high uncertainty threshold is in my mid-30s, on one particular day, I was actually told that I have to accept that at any time I could have a bullet in the back of my head when I least expected, and it could happen at any time, and it's all over Red Rover. It was called a cancer relapse, because the cancer I had an incredible relapse rate. It was like you had to be super lucky not to actually have the relapse rate. And guess what? They were pretty accurate, because it's happened a few times. And you know what? I've learned to cope with uncertainty. And that's what we have right now. And I want to put everyone at ease. If you're watching this video, chances are you're in a country right now that you, worst case scenario, listen to me very carefully, worst case scenario, you can still walk into Coles or Woolworths, and maybe you won't find toilet paper, but you will be able to take grapes and eat them for free, and no one is going to say anything, I don't think. So you won't starve in these countries. Do you understand? You won't starve. Worst case scenario, you've got no money. You can walk in to essential services, Coles and Woolworths, and eat grapes for free. What's going to happen? They're not going to come and put you in jail. So guys and girls, you're not going to starve. So I want you to calm down. I want you to calm down, and I want you to understand, Yes, there's turbulence. Yes, there's clouds. But I want you to be a big thinker, not a faulty forecaster. And that is that these big clouds, right, that the plane's hitting and there's turbulence, eventually go away. And then it's smooth sailing again. I can't tell you when the turbulence will end, but what I can tell you, it will end. So guys and girls, a couple of the things I want you to understand right now. Get on the phone and bring your auctions forward and wrap them up. Wrap them up. Here's a bit of scripts and dialogues to wrap them up. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm letting you know we've made the decision in light of what's going on that we are going to actually sell this property on Tuesday. The auction has been brought forward. It's going to be held at our office at 11 a.m. I am letting you know that this property is going to be sold. Our owners want it sold. Now, if you've only got one buyer or two buyers, you might be intelligent enough to turn around and say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm letting you know we're actually going to bring this sale to a head. Can I ask you, at what level do you want to be excluded in negotiations? Because you might actually bring it together as a private treaty sale, which a lot of properties did actually go that way prior to this weekend. And smart agents know how to create urgency, right? And that is one of the things that why I'm so excited about this real estate market, because soon there's going to be less people in real estate, and what happens? It's your time to shine. If you know how to have crucial conversations, if you can actually create urgency when there's no urgency, if you can get a vendor to sort of just say, hey, just sell it. And by the way, can I just say to you that pretty much getting price reductions at the moment is not challenging. This is all I would say to vendors on Saturday. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, can I ask you, are you the gambling type or are you more conservative? Oh, we're conservative. If you're conservative, what I'd suggest you do is make a decision to actually pick cash over the property. You see, if we have a decline of 20%, what I'd rather you do is have the cash and let the other person that buys your property have the liability. Cash is king. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor. And before I could actually say anything else, you know what vendors were saying? Sell it, right? And it's got to tell you, there's going to be, you're going to have less competition. Less competition is going to mean for you as an agent, you're going to get higher fees. You're going to get a bigger slice of the marketplace. So hang in there. And I want you to use this turbulent coronavirus period. How do you say it? COVID-19 period. I want you to use this period for you to become so mentally strong that you actually take up your level of threshold uncertainty that makes you bulletproof. I want you to become a black belt of the mind. Let's keep moving. What does this possibly mean for rentals? It means for rentals that we're going to have a situation where most likely tenants are going to be able to be moving out of properties, right? What we don't know right now, but we should know in the next 1 or 2 days, does it mean that open for inspections on Saturday are off? Most likely. Does it mean the auction on site next Saturday is going to be off? Most likely. Does it basically mean that the way that we're going to be operating in the next 2 weeks is going to change? Most likely. I think you've got 2 days to start pulling in high probability deals and get them done, because there is a possibility that you will not be able to actually have appointments in the next 2 weeks of a physical nature. And I've got to let you know that I know that people are going to, start freaking out and say, but it's destroying us. Hey, here's what's happened, guys and girls. I've got to let you know. By the way, I'm going to turn this aircon on because it's so hot. Okay, there are 4 kinds of people reacting to this coronavirus. Let me run through those four people, right? Oh, sorry. Let me for one moment just go through some more of the real estate stuff. I got to tell you, I know so many Hey, Christina. I auctioned Christina's parents' place on Saturday, and I said I'd give her a big shout out. And Christina, I told you I would notice you. And yes, you're going to come out auctioning with me because Christina's doing health science and she wants to become an auctioneer. And she's going to be a great auctioneer because she's an extrovert, she looks the goods, she's confident, and she wants to do it. Anyway, so guys and girls, let me just move on. So what are some of the things that you've got to be doing? Like a lot of people say, oh, what am I going to do in this period of time? Well, let me tell you, as Lisa Novak says, out of chaos comes opportunity. You know that database of yours that you've got? That's got all these people that shouldn't be in the database, like people that sort of haven't been spoken to like for years. Well, you're at home and you can't get the coronavirus to another person by talking on the phone. How about this being the period that you take your database from being a fat database to a fit database? That's one thing that you can actually do. Another thing that you can actually do is run the 3-minute SMS competition, where what you do is you can do a valuation on any property in 3 minutes, and you want to talk about a killer strategy that the Novaks have used to grow their database. In fact, Lisa and Mark, I want to do it this week. I want for the real estate gym to actually do a full webinar again on the 3-minute valuation. You don't have to go to the property, right? You don't have to go to the property. And it is an incredible database builder for future sellers. Mark and Lisa, I'm hitting you up this week. I'm going to do it. Because if you haven't worked it out, I've had to readjust myself in the way that I work. So just for the record, you know, like everyone, I have been impacted. And if you do the numbers, it's 42 conferences now, right? And we're talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of lost revenue. But you know what? It wasn't such a bad week last week. It really wasn't. Why? Because I got to sleep in my own bed, which I never really do. Because I was able to go to the place that I want to go in the morning and drink a coffee. Because I was able to exercise and not have to wake up at 4:30. Because I was able to prepare my food and take some time to eat my food slowly. Why? Because I was able to actually influence tens of thousands of people last week instead of 100 people in a physical room. So you know what? There was some sort of silver lining in everything that happened, and that was that all these great things happened. Like, bang, you know? I didn't have to sit in planes. I ate better. Hey, I connected to my family because I'm hardly ever here. And as Malcolm Quinn said, I got some deep sleep. And you know what? It wasn't 6 hours. It was closer to 8 hours. So I have to tell you, there were some good things that came out of this chaos. Anyway, let me move on. And I've got to tell you, there are 4... By the way, clean your database during this period. You want to start doing what Angelo Nicholas did from Harris at Adelaide the other day. He's doing his appraisals like, you know, vendors are sort of going through the property with their mobile phone. He's looking at it. He's going on a CoreLogic RP data and he's doing listing presentations on the phone. He's doing listing presentations by Zoom, and we're learning to adjust, guys and girls. And I'm telling you, there are 4 kinds of people that I'm seeing that are coming out of the woodwork in this coronavirus crisis. Here they are. Let me go through who they are. The first kind of person is the person that I call the money person. The money person is the person that you run into at a cafe or at a shop that says, oh mate, they've destroyed the country, overreaction, what about my staff? Man, how am I going to pay my rent? The place is going to go down to the dogs. The world's gone crazy, right? That's the kind of, all they're focused on is the economics. Normally, they're people that are towards the right. Normally, they are entrepreneurs, but that is the way that they see the world, right? They've got the world through eyes that are, what are the commercial impacts to Australia, to the world? We're going to enter a recession, right? That's what they care about. Then you've got what I call the people that are worried about the actual health of coronavirus, the impact, the amount of people that get hospitalized, and the amount of people that die. And these people are very concerned. And can I just say, they should be rightly concerned, because I changed my whole life last Friday at 1 o'clock. I was seeing my doctor, and my doctor said to me, Tom, it is not an overreaction, it is an underreaction. You're playing Russian roulette getting on those planes. That afternoon, I cancelled 5 conferences. By Tuesday, there were another 15. As the week went on, others cancelled them. And to be quite honest with you, I do think it is an issue. And to the people that turn around and say, oh, but you know what? It's only old people. Yes, well, old people don't matter unless it's your father, right? Oh, Tom, it's only like 1%. Well, 1% doesn't matter till it's your kid. Well, can I just say to you, I'm taking this thing damn serious. And the reason I'm taking this thing damn serious, I'm running out of battery already. The reason I'm taking this thing damn serious is very simple. Because there are estimate of people that died in the Spanish flu epidemic in 1918. The lower estimate is 50 million. The higher estimate is 100 million. And I've got to tell you what subsequently happened. What subsequently happened is that a year or two after that terrible period, it was, in the last century. Wow, was it? Yes, it was. It was about 100 years ago. Ooh, how spooky is that? 100 years ago, is that right? 1918, 2020. Yes, it is. 102 years ago. Well, what happened after that? And you did a beautiful video, by the way, Panos and Maria, and they quietly highlighted that there was a period called the Roaring Twenties after that. And the Roaring Twenties were that, things just boomed. Now, let me just tell you, this has happened in most times when there's been, major corrections, depressions, recessions. So good times are coming. What we don't know is when they're going to come. And what we don't know is what the damage is going to be along the way. No one knows that. So at the end of the day, I'm letting you know no one has a monopoly to the truth. Listen to me very carefully. But I've got to tell you, so far I've gone through 2 groups of people. You've got the people that are worried about the money. Then you've got a certain group of people that are worried about the health. And then you've got what I call the Bondi buffheads. The Bondi buffheads, the super spreaders, that's all they are. They're the ones, thank God, sanity prevailed and the cops moved in yesterday afternoon because a group of people decided that what they were going to do is take the luxury of being sent home from work so they don't spread the virus, and they congregated together with thousands of other people trying to get a tan, trying to look good, editing their photos on Instagram looking like they've got a 6-pack. But you know what? They're nothing, but they were super spreaders. That's what they were. They were the equivalent of people having unprotected sex during AIDS. They're scumbags, the worst of the worst. And that's why not even one of them even got up to actually even be prepared to comment or take me to task, because they're ashamed. You're a disgrace. But you know what? Some of you have learned from it, because at the end of the day, even if you decide to put your head in the sand, you are still a super spreader. What you're doing is making things harder for the economy. What you're making it things for heartaches for people's parents, and you have got total self-centered and total irresponsibility. And to be quite honest with you, you're nothing else but you're a super spreader. They're your Bondi bogans. You know what? They're your Bondi bogans, right? But guess what? There's going to be less of them. And people don't realize that one of the things, there's a mathematic curve to all this. And what we clearly know is that there's a few terms that have come up during this. And that is that if you use a strategy with Corona, which is called test and trace, right? Which is you test people quickly and then trace back to where they were, and then you go to the next person. What you do is you take the infection rate and you spread it from 3 days to 6 days. That appears to be the KPI, the 6-day mark, the 6-day mark. The 6-day mark says this: if you can actually spread, listen to me carefully, if you can spread the infection rate from not doubling every 3 days to doubling every 6 days, what you do is you spread the burden of the crisis to the health workers, which means that if you get the phlegm and you get all the problems in your lungs, that they can have enough ventilator machines, get you good, and you don't die. But if we don't do that, what actually happens is the load on the health workers. And by the way, to every real estate agent and to every mortgage broker out there and to every business person who thinks that, hey, my world has been affected, everyone gets so myopic. Can I just tell you, listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very, very carefully. What about the health workers who 3 weeks ago would drop their kids off at school, then go to work a hard job anyway, and all of a sudden their life has turned upside down? Do you understand that every one of these health workers has got family? Do you understand that every one of these health workers now has got this increased risk of catching coronavirus? And you are worried about the fact that you can't do a midweek open for inspection? Well, get some perspective, because you'll actually find out this won't be too much different to actually just feeling like you're working on Christmas Day. They're the heroes, the health workers, the doctors. Every doctor's being redeployed. They've been taken off their job and they're told, put on these outfits, and they've got to have faith that these outfits are going to work for them to stop the virus, and then they've got to go home to see their kids and family. Anyway, you can tell I'm strong about this. Anyway, let's move on, guys and girls. So then you've got the Bondi Bogans, the money-driven people, and then you've got the people that are worried about the health, and then you've got the last group, which I call the adapters. And that's the group that I'm choosing to be in, the adapters. Because if you don't like change, you're going to hate extinction. I know it's a terrible term to use under these current circumstances, but adapting is the name of the game. And what I'm trying to do is, in all of this, use this opportunity to change things quickly. You would have noticed it. Gym members would have just noticed, hang on a second, what's going on here? This guy here is at us every day. I'm pretty much at you like 1.5 times a day now, right? And the reason why is I realize more than ever you need more scripts and dialogues to deal with buyers and sellers with uncertainty. Right now, you need more than ever how to work effectively from home. You need more than ever how to actually prospect. What do you say to people that want to come onto the market? And I've got to tell you, this is the classic off-market market. And this week, again, it's going to be a lot of scripts and dialogues addressing this subject. We've got events, we've got people on every day, pretty much. I'm going to tell you, every day. This actually might be permanent, to be quite honest with you, because one of the things that comes out of adversity is a new way of working, and it actually might be, because to be quite frank, I'm a little bit over having to be on a plane pretty much every day of the week, and the last week has made me realize that, hey, life is actually easier when you're not rushing through a bloody x-ray machine at the airport, rushing to a plane and having to sit next to someone that you might not necessarily want to be with, but that is your allocated seat. So let's move on. Let me move on, guys and girls. What did I want to say to you? I wanted to let you know, before you forget, a couple of other things, and that is that it's a level playing field. It is a level playing field. And what do I mean by that? It is a level playing field. Everyone is impacted. Everyone is impacted. What do I mean by that? And by the way, can I let you all know, as soon as I have further word tomorrow about the consequences of other things, such as open for inspections, I am going to be back on this screen giving you that information. I want to let you know that I spoke to Louis Christopher and he agrees with me. He's, by the way, the most accurate forecaster I've ever met. I followed this guy's work for 15 years, actually close to 20 years. And I've got to tell you, let me have another sip of my beer. There are too many stimulants. The interest rates are too low. There is too much support to property. And after this challenging period, we are actually going to have an incredible real estate period. So for now, and I don't want to scare you, yes, do buy canned tuna and maybe a wholemeal roll, which is going to cost you in total $2.50, because maybe you're going to have to take down some of your costs while we get through this period. This is not me being gloomy. This is me actually saying to you, it appears that if you can't control the income, we might as well control our cost base. And that is different whether you're a business owner or whether you're a salesperson. If you're a business owner, it potentially means that you go off and you look at, things like your subscriptions, awards nights. It basically means that you speak to your accountant and have a look at, how you can space off any tax. By the way, but you need to speak to your accountant, because you'll be shocked at the amount of support the government is giving to business right now. Guess what? If you get unemployed, think about this. You're going to be getting, I think it is $1,100 a fortnight, right? That is what the unemployment benefit is going to be, $1,100 a fortnight. They've sort of gone off and doubled it and taken away the waiting period, right? So the good news is, guys and girls, the good news is that there are things that are going to allow people to actually not starve. You'll be able to tap into your super by 10 grand. They've made it really good for businesses being able to get zero interest loans. So speak to an accountant, because I've got to tell you, don't forecast a future worse than what it is. Don't forecast a future better than it is. Forecast the future as what it is based on the information that you have. And right now, you might not have all the information as it pertains to you. Other things that I want to touch on with you is, by the way, you know why I'm not really too freaked out about everything? Because I've been training for this for 35 years. 35 years ago, I opened up a book which I think is called Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins. 35 years I have been a student of getting this mind looking right. 35 years I've been doing personal development, some through education, some through a chemo ward. So I've got to tell you, 35 years I've been preparing for the next 3 months. It's going to be fine. But you've got to do your bit. You've got to do your bit. And it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about what happens to you. And that basically means that you always participate on the solution, not the problem. I'm not saying there's no problem out there. There is a problem. It's bloody a big problem. But what I'm saying is the Smart Brigade participate on the solution, not the problem. And that has pretty much got me through the last 15 years, and it's going to get me through the next 3 or 4 months. And I want to let you know, if there was ever a period that I want you to understand, the secret in your life is to actually develop multiple sources of income. Some people say it's 7 sources of income. Like, I've got to tell you, I'm happy to share. I'm an open book. I make money out of my online business. I make money out of auctions. I make money out of speaking. There are 2 companies I do work for, and I get paid for that. In addition to that, I get paid for coaching, right? So at the end of the day, if one of these things goes off, hey, guess what? I've got another one coming in. And that is very important, to have multiple sources of income. And by the way, I've been an avid investor of real estate for 30 years. So even if all things were switched off, you've got rental income. And then people can turn around and say, yeah, but what happens if tenants can't even pay you? Well, I've got to tell you, there's a lot's got to go wrong there. But we also know that tenants are going to be assisted in this process. So guys and girls, just another reason on why you need to have multiple sources of income in life. It's going to help you to plan the escape, okay? My economic philosophy is that we're in a level playing field. I'll say that again. So don't get myopic to think you're the only person affected. Everyone's net wealth goes down. Everyone starts having the same issues. So you don't have to feel isolated. And I've always said it. Listen to me carefully. You matter. I believe that for the first time, many of us are beginning to realize that we're like neurons. And we can see how coronavirus spreads from one person to another. But guess what? I'm also letting you know that we're all connected to one each other, right? What we do affects other people. We're beginning to realize this. We're beginning to realize. So Malcolm Quinn on Insta, hit him up. He's actually put an offer out there. Brand support, personal branding consults. I'm letting you know, guys and girls, listen to me carefully. You're a neuron that's connected to another neuron, that's connected to another neuron. So what you do matters. What you do and say matters. It affects other people. And that's why I'm saying you've got to keep doing this. It makes a difference. You've got to understand the social distancing. And I'm telling you straight, if you have someone that's a grub, that's out there in public coughing away, and you can see they're not making an effort to protect other people, fucking, I shouldn't swear, I swore. Pull them up. Pull them up. Don't call their bullshit. Because I'm telling you, right here, right now, we are all connected. And we can come out of this at some point this year. And we're going to be a group of people that is more grateful. We're going to be a group of people that is more kinder. What's going to happen is we're going to get out there back and we're going to socialize and we're going to play sport more than ever, and we're going to play bigger in real estate and mortgage broking more than ever, and we're going to realize that we were so lucky and that we dodged the Spanish flu consequences where 50, 100 million people went down, and all we've got to do is pay a short-term price. All we've got to do is sit there and listen to what the professionals are saying and not go off with your own opinion and say, oh, I think it's all an overreaction. Oh, there's only been 7 deaths. Well, we want to keep it as low as possible. We want to be more like a Japan. We don't want to be an Iran. It even rhymes. We don't want to be an Italy. We want to be like the other countries that have been able to stop the doubling of the rate and get control. Guys and girls, it is short-term pain. You matter. Do your bit. And at the end of the day, guys and girls, I'm letting you know, don't catastrophize. Worst comes to worst, you're going to go into Woolworths and you're going to eat free grapes. Real estate gym members, I'm letting you know, you'll be in your email, you're knowing what we're getting through. We've got McGrath this week. We've got Chris Hanley this week. We've got Tara Christensen this week. We've got Angelo Nicholas this week. I think we've got Tommy Hector this week. And of course, you're going to be getting updates from me as to what's going on with the law and what you've got to be doing with your own work. Guys and girls, an incredible opportunity. Some of the best gifts life come badly wrapped. A new beginning is often disguised as a painful ending. I'm letting you know, I want to be with you. I want to be part of your life. If you're a real estate gym member, you get more of me. If you're not a real estate gym member, you get some of me. Guys and girls, I'm letting you know, what's coming is better than what's gone. Yes, there's turbulence. Yes, there's storms, but they all come to an end at one point. Keep your eyes on the prize. Do what you can. Stay healthy. Train every day. Eat clean. Sleep tight. And never forget, let go and let God.